Hey guys, and welcome back to another round of Let's Make Hybrids. This week we are tackling sharks and lizards. Now, I know I've said this every week, right? I've said this every single week so far, but you guys keep on surprising me every week. But this time round, you have really gone above and beyond, to the point where I think you've even surprised each other with both the quantity and quality of submissions this time round, so we're probably looking at a part 3 series for this one. I'll try and go over them as quickly as I can. And so for the very first one, we are off to an amazing start by Somi and Alice Bill. The drawing was by Somi and the concept was by Alice Bill, of Somi's character in a shark outfit, and I love the expression. It's very sinister, despite it being an adorable little cartoony thing. It looks very, very silly, and the face and the, of course, glowing red dagger does just kind of like give it a bit of an edge, doesn't it? I really like it. And for the next one, by Dropkick Murphy, we have what I guess is a frilled lizard and maybe a great white, or maybe just any shark in general. Murphy had mentioned this probably has 100 different ways to hunt, which I can imagine, just with the extending tongue, but also I can imagine perhaps by ambush, by submerging and drowning, by exhausting. The frills make me think of a JP Dilophosaurus, so maybe even with a venom spit. It's quite interesting, and I do like the concept. I really like the frills in particular. I don't think we've actually had very many frilled shark hybrids. Next up we have a small creation by Caprasuchus93 of their Kairin, which is a Thresher shark and marine iguana with a bit of the Helicopian, the outdated version, and from what I can tell, this is a completely vanilla creation as well, so no mods whatsoever. And I think it looks really fantastic. I just really like the little shell shards on the back of the head, a very old school technique by Diablo Dog, and I also just really like the mouth as well, especially the Helicopian, I'm probably saying it wrong, especially the Helicopian mouth, the way it kind of like goes backwards into like a bit of a funky saw buzzsaw thing. I don't know how you describe it, but I think that Caprasuchus has done a really good job of translating that into Spore in a way that actually really matches the creature. Not to mention the texture choice, and I think that the tip of the tail as well, again, looks really nice. Plus the gills on the side too. And next up we have Clover Sage with just a really gorgeous looking design. I really particularly just love all the markings. I love like all the little spots that are in between all the stripes and such. It gives it just like a really cool, fascinating appearance and really makes you kind of, you know, look around and try to find more and more of the patterning. I also like the general shape of it as well. It's got like a bit of an alien kind of vibe to it. This is the type of thing I can imagine starting as a spore creature and someone has then redrawn and stylized, and I just think it looks really, really lovely. And I think it stands out beautifully. And next up by Untitled Goose, we have the Asian water monitor and a tiger shark. It lives 1,000 depths under the sea, completely hidden from society. If you were to venture to the deep, face to face with this beast you'll meet. I really like that. And I also really like the design. What I especially just really like is the mottled under white belly. I think just all the different splashes of colour, all the greys, a bit of browns, and especially the whites, just really make the transition between the two, the upper dark shade and the lower light shade just looks really, really nice. Very clean, while being messy. It complements it very well. And I also just really like the little darker markings around the head, the neck, and the forearms as well. Again, quite subtle, but it just really adds so much depth to the creature, so much texture, and I think it really stands out. And next up by Dinosaur Awesome Dude, we have the bearded Goblin shark. It is a semi-aquatic creature that can breathe both on land and in water. It has a strong tail used to propel itself through the water. Its large claws with its front arms can be used to catch fish, but it's normally used to tear them apart if it's too strong for its jaws. This is wonderfully creepy looking. I like the way it's sunbathing, though I do have a bit of a question about that. I would imagine it'd probably be a little bit scorching under the sun unless it acts like a crocodile, which, to be fair, part lizard, it probably can do. I like the design of the tail and all the little ridges along the side of its stomach, and also those great big opposing claws. And next up by Somi, we have the blue shark and Basilisk. This is absolutely beautiful. I just love how slender and elegant this one looks. The colours are stunning. I love how vibrant they are, plus all the reflective lighting as well, so how the upper part of the creature is shaded very brightly, but the lower part also has like a bit of bounce lighting here and there as well. It's very effective. All the speckled parts as well give it a bit of a bioluminescent feel as well. I just really like the shape and silhouette too. I also just really like how the spine on the back and on the tail kind of separate around the middle for the base of the tail fins to pop out as well. It's just the whole thing is just really nice in composition. And next up by the Dragon Queen, we have the Leopard Shark and Dwarf Dragon Lizard. This is another adorable one, and I do like the addition of the background as well. And I just really like the way he's kind of swimming, the way he's posed. And I also just love the arm-like flippers. Something about that just seems really adorable and characteristic. Not to mention the coloration, the patterns, and the way the tail transitions into a lighter touch is a really nice choice. And next up by Dinosaur Awesome Dude, we have the Soro Shark. I think we can all agree this is probably a sauropod and a shark. I think it's really, really cute, and the idea of a herbivorous shark is also quite interesting. And I think this one just looks very sweet. And next up by Arcane, we've got the Thresher Sharkon, the Frilled Dragon and Thresher Shark. I have to admit, this one gives me like a bit of a Night Fury vibe. I think it's because of the head, but I actually really like it. It makes me imagine like a far more stealthy, kind of elegant creature. I love all of the very speckled, mottled transitions between the blue and the white. I think that just looks really, really nice and gives it so much more character. I love all the frills in the back of its head, how it appears to have 2 levels of frills instead of 1. And again, just like the whole idea of colouring and texturing, I just really like it. And next up by Vinesh, the Tyrannosaurus Rex and Megalodon. Of course, I'm surprised we didn't get more T-Rexes and Megalodons, to be honest. Again, really like this one. It's an awesome spore creation, and it being in the environment with all the corpses, a couple of its pack mates, and of course some juveniles is a really nice touch. It just gives it so much life to the creature. I really like how it's going to look out to the sea. The overall proportions of the body look really cool, and I gotta say a T-Rex is really quite fitting because while it has like the great big powerful legs, the lack of the forearms really do help emphasize the whole, you know, shark part of the silhouette. And I think it's actually a very effective choice. It might seem a little bit cheesy, but I think it's actually the perfect balance. Because instead of the forearms, we've now got the flippers, and it still sells T-Rex as well as shark. I think it's really clever. And next up by Elephant Dog, we have this rather fascinating looking hybrid. No name or list of creatures to share, so it's down to the interpretation, but I just really like the overall colours. I think it's a very interesting bright colour scheme. It kind of reminds me of a rainwing. I really like all the patterning along the face, and also little bands of yellow around the forearms. All the big claws as well, those claws look very intimidating, and I like the design of the tail. And next up by Foxwithen, we've got the Hammerhead and Draco Lizard. This one, I love this one. It feels like an alien flying lizard. I don't know why, I get like a bit of an alien vibe from it. I think it's because of how thin it is. The ribs are somewhat showing as well as the muscles, and also because of the very unusual hammerhead face. But I really like it. I think it's a very strong idea, it's a very strong concept. Foxwithen's drawn it very, very nicely. I also just really like a little seagull flying behind it, or maybe even an albatross. I also like the intensive shading using the pen, all the cross-hatching and line work along the tip of the wings, the tail, the hammerhead eyes, and around its dorsal fin. I also just really like all the line work as well, especially around the underbelly and the neck. As I said, I think this one just comes together really, really awesomely, and I think it's a very strong idea. And next up by Draconic Kitsune, we have the Monitor Lizard and Shark. I love the way it's kind of like mid-feed, it's really interesting. I also just really like the markings. I think the markings are very clean, very nicely done. The environment as well is cool to see like a bit of a murky green environment instead of like a big blue ocean one. I think that the creature actually kind of fits that more in my opinion. All the nice warm colours kind of mixing together. And I gotta say, I do like the style. The style's got like a bit of a vector feel to it, and it's really nice, very clean and precise. And I just find it really satisfying to look at. And I also like the forearms of the hybrid as well. I just like the white patterning that really kind of sets the arms apart. And next up by Savannah Dragon 0221 is a Chimera and Leopard Gekko hybrid with a blue whale sized siphonophore, which is a jellyfish wrapped around it, which is a very interesting touch. For the Chimera Leopard Gekko itself, I think it looks beautiful. I love the lighting. I really love the eye. The eye is very, very striking. It's got a beautiful reflection. Saying that, just the overall lighting on the creature itself, while it's wrapped around this great big siphonophore, is very quite interesting. And the whole thing looks a little bit intense, like it's about to be captured or something, I'm not sure, but it's just very interesting how it's able to convey those kind of emotions in the artwork. I think it looks awesome. I also just really like the patterning. What I really like about it is how there's just like a very limited upper half of the body is this very rich spotted patterning, really bright colours, and then how the bottom half of it is all these different kind of pearlescent colours. It's a really cool contrast, and I think again like just gives it so much more character. And next up by the Witch Doctor, we have this really beautiful one, which I can see being as a poster, just due to the way it's proportioned, compositioned, maybe it's a black outline as well, I'm not sure. It's a very dramatic piece, it's got very beautiful lightning. I love the crashing waves, and I love the lightning, and I really like the texture on the creature itself. I don't know what creatures they used for the hybrid, but I just love all the very subtle spots and markings all along its underbelly, all of the arms, the fins. It looks absolutely beautiful, and just the way it's kind of leaping out of the water, the whole thing just looks very stunning and very powerful. And next up by Alpha Dog, we have the Gekko and Cookie Cutter Shark, which I think is adorable. I just love the cute little face, and there's just something about the posturing. I don't know, I feel like bipedal's a little bit unusual for the references described here, but just something about it just feels really, really cute, and I think it's really sweet. And next up by the Fridge Master 27, we have the Hades Draco Shark. This lives in deep parts of the ocean, and it uses its colour changing abilities to blend in their surroundings and catch prey. They aren't very social and only meet when they mate. Their eggs hatch near the shore, and they crawl to the shore once they hatch. They seem to be very intelligent, uncommon to reptiles and fish. They have tactics and strategies on how to hunt and evade predators as a juvenile. Kind of reminds me a bit of an orca whale actually. I think it's a cool design. The back of the head is interesting. It kind of feels like it's got a bit of a Triceratops head, minus the big scary teeth, which is an interesting touch. I also like the small little claws on the tip of the flippers as well. Plus the dark coloration gives me like a very deep sea vibe too. And next up by Blue the Fairy, we have the Lemon Shark and Lizard. Another very cute looking one that looks like it's kind of just chilling down into the ocean. Very sparkly eyes, very vibrantly striped tail, and a really interesting colour palette. And next by Meow, we have the Great Bearded White Dragon, which is a great white shark and a bearded dragon hybrid. Absolutely loving all the texturing on the neck and the underbelly. All those big scales or osteoderms popping out just really gives it like such a rugged appearance, makes it seem quite foreboding, gives like a bit of a crocodile vibe. I also think the addition of having the fins kind of protruding from the forearms is a very neat touch as well. Plus the big strong tail, and I really like the ridges on the back of the neck too. This thing just radiates musculature and bulk, which is fitting for a great white. And next up we get a sport creation by COD Gamer of their Chameleon Shark, aka the Shaman. Another vanilla creation that uses no mods. This is a very adorable looking one. I love the big popping out eyes. The hands and feet are also a very interesting touch. They don't really seem to have any claws, so I can imagine perhaps they're flippers or they're very lizard-like. Well, I guess, yeah, gecko-like. It's an interesting touch, as I said, the lack of claws. And also the coloration again just like really makes it pop out, and I love the big long tail looking very slender. It's interesting, this one has like a much more just general lizard vibe to it, and I think it just looks adorable. And next up by Dinosaur Awesome Dude, we have another sport creation of the Mako Dragon. This one again having a bit more of a lizard appearance, but a bit more shark as well actually. I really like the big striking colours and the very aerodynamic body shape. The crouched hind legs are a nice touch, and I also like the dorsal fins midway the tail too. And next up by Alpha Dragon, we have the Blue-Tongued Shark, which is based on the Blue-Tongued Skink and the Thresher Shark. This one appears to be just leaping out mid-air, and the idea of that is kind of terrifying, but I really like it. It reminds me of those flying snakes that are a thing, by the way. And imagine that as like some kind of shark hybrid. It is really intimidating and really, really cool. I can imagine the poor little ladybird thinks the same thing down there. I really like the colour palettes on this one. All the brown shades give like a much more earthen kind of feel. Quite fitting for what I imagine to be a forest creature. Then the blue fins offer a nice bit of contrast and something I can imagine it being either for intimidation purposes or maybe even for display purposes. And I love the design of its face and those really creepy needle-like teeth. And next up by Fox Woodman, we have another beautiful pen drawing with what seems to be a very creepy looking chameleon tongue. It's got a big chameleon tongue, but the tip of the tongue as well like has all these little jaws, kind of like a Venus flytrap, and it looks really creepy but really, really cool. I love all the construction lines along the face, also around the tongue as well. I also like all the big defined scales around the back of the neck, the back and the tail. And again, having a bit of an aquatic fin kind of protruding from the forearms is a really cool touch. I also really like the markings on the neck and just generally on the face. This is really, really cool. A chameleon's a very interesting idea, and I love how they've gone with like such a chameleon feature heavy creature, because they are quite a fascinating creature, and seeing that on a shark is really interesting. It's a really cool combination of just concepts. And next up by Oreloki is the blue-orange Thresher Shaguana, which is a blue-orange iguana and a Thresher Shark. Mates, I think we're all thinking of this. The colours are absolutely incredible. They are incredibly stunning. They're just so rich, so vibrant, so varied. I love how wherever you look, not just the colours, but also like the patterns, the gradients, just everything about it is just different everywhere. And it just makes it feel like that Loki has poured in a lot of effort to every single perceivable part of this creature. Personally, I find that whenever I get to things like the thighs, the chest, the tail, things get like a little bit boring colour-wise. I lose a bit of interest after I finish off the face and the more dominant details, but Loki is clearly just consistently done amazing detail everywhere, and I just think it looks absolutely stunning. I also want to note that I really do like the design of the paws. They just come across as very large and very powerful. And I also love the little aquatic tendrils coming off the fins and the tail. As I said, the whole thing's absolutely just stunning. And next up is another stunning one by Guggenheim of the Last Lung. Again, just like with Loki's, the level of consistent detail in this one is absolutely stunning. You can just see all the scales travelling across the entirety of the body, all the way to the very tip of the tail, all with meticulous lighting and definition. All the scales and fins go along the back of the tail as well, beautiful. Especially all the cresting around the head is so stunning, and it really reminds me of both Basil Geese and Mitsuzune from Monster Hunter. I may have said that wrong. But either way, the whole thing's beautiful. The way it's kind of bridging towards the water, in fact towards the boat there, is just very, very striking. The whole scene is just beautiful, especially the texture of the water. And I also really like the coloration. The coloration is very, very unique on this one. Bits of pink, purple, yellow, grey. Very unusual, and again, just makes it look so much more iconic. It really stands out. Again, another really fantastic submission. And next up by Dated Chicken 805 is Goblin Shark and Chameleon. This one's got a bit of a freaky neon colour scheme. I really like it. Maybe it's the quality of the photo, I'm not sure. But the great big neon green just looks like really glowing, and it really makes me think of like some creepy deep ocean bioluminescent creature. I think that's quite complimented as well by the design of the teeth. The whole thing just kind of gives me like a bit of an anglerfish vibe, and I think it looks fantastic. Also the tongue coiling around that snake as well, the poor little thing. Not to mention a great big horn coming out from the face of the creature, and the multicoloured fins on its back. And next up by Mihal, we've got the bull flying shark, which is a bull shark and flying lizard. This is absolutely awesome. I can't help but think of a shark with wings. And I think it just looks really cool. Although saying that, the shark with wings has got a bit more of a lizard face, and I think it fits it extremely well. Not to mention the big scary claws too. I really like the angle of which this is drawn. Just the way he's included one of the wings to dip slightly below it just gives like a bit more of a 3D feel, and it just makes the whole flying posture just feel very striking. And next up, also by Mihal, is a tiger shark and Gekko hybrids. This one, compared to the other two, I can imagine being a bit more of a lumbering giant. Maybe a bit more of a sloth-like creature, or even like a crocodile in fact. So perhaps like fairly slow until ready to hunt. It's also got like all the ostrich jumps as well, kind of like a crocodile. But it's part of Gekko though, so maybe it's really small. I do like all the markings. I think the little tongue there kind of licking his jowls is very neat to touch. I think it's really cool. I just love seeing Mihal's different interpretations between all these three different creatures, all shark and lizards, but all very striking and independent of each other, and I think Mihal's done a beautiful job. And next up by Matty Dino is a shark and gecko. I love all the lighting and shadows, especially around the face. The face feels remarkably 3D, and especially the eye. But the patterning as well, like all of those leopard gecko patterns are just beautiful and extremely well drawn. I also just love how it transitions into much more lighter, more petite, smaller spots that goes down to the white of its belly and fades off. It just looks like a very neat transition. And also the great big gecko paws as well are absolutely beautiful and gives like a very cute touch. Also, can I just say, the texturing of the surface of the water is also stunning. Right, that is 30 submissions. We are wrapping up there for now. Absolutely incredible work, everyone. Now, as I said, there's going to be many more, so we'll probably be looking at part 3. But I'll try and get through them nice and quickly. I hope I wasn't too rushed, but I'm definitely trying to pick up the pace. But everything is absolutely fantastic, and I am so happy I get to see them all. So thank you all very much. You can expect part 2 coming out next week, probably a bit quicker actually, since there's a extended deadline. And if you want to submit your own artwork, you can either on my Discord server, you can email me directly, you can reply in the comment section down below with a link to your submission, or you can message me on Twitter and DeviantArt, anywhere that you can reach me, and I should be able to see it. As always, thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Cheers!